Good evening, everyone. How's it going? Thank you for being here, TGIF. I can't believe it's another Friday. Come and gone. This week has been a chilly one, I'm sure for a lot of you. I can't even believe it. It was like 9 inches of snow in the panhandle of Florida. Like, what? That never happens. What is going on? Even here this morning, it was like 39 degrees. What is that? Anyways, thank you for being here for JC Live. We're just going to be hanging out. Free Speech Friday, as we always do. Relaxing. Tonight's a relaxing day. It is cold outside. I got the fireplace on. It's not making a lot of fire. But I actually put the heat on in here because normally in the studio I don't put the heat on until finally I just can't even handle it anymore. Anyways, I hope everyone's having a good week. Finally, the week is over. Once again, TGIF. Let's see who's here tonight. Who is here? Takaka Zushi says, could you dial up your Linux coverage? I will do that, actually. I will be doing that. Maybe this week coming up, we'll do some more Linux things. There's some things that I have currently that I'm looking at. So, yeah, hang in there. I'll be doing some more Linux coming up soon. Radioactive Texan, thank you for being here. Appreciate you. David, Ricky Joe is here. Tom, how's it going? How is it going? How's everyone's doing? Ken, we got Lotte Greg. Honey Badger's here. 2 captains. Who else? We have Travis. Edgardo. Who else? Let me see. Renee, Gary. Gallagher is in the house. How are you doing, Gallagher? Ron. Whole bunch of people. Hey, listen. People are just starting to show up. Normally, I'll put out let's say, a precursor to the JC Live shows, but I didn't do that today. I didn't put like a little thumbnail out for, I don't know, about an hour ago or something. I wasn't sure if I was going to do it or not. Fabiola isn't here. She's away. Obviously, the whole inaugural thing went on, and there's a lot of coverage that's going on, so she's not here with me tonight. But she should be here next Friday. So it'll just be me. You just have to look at this horrible mug for tonight. But it's been definitely a interesting week at that. I talked about pops. And then today I talked about pops also, but GrandPOPs, grandfathered in, where you no longer have the grandfathered in package any longer. So very interesting. Very, very interesting. I don't know if you guys were here for the pops conversation that I had, and I was talking about how the point of presence is very important, but what a few articles were saying is that you need to be closer to a pop to get faster service and lower latency. And I had to kind of debunk that because that's not really the case. I've said that in the past too, but I should qualify it. And in this case, I said, you know what, I'm going to qualify it. I'm going to tell you why having a pop close to you is important, and it's not the distance. So if you didn't watch that video, check that out. I kind of went after this guy, Dr. Pan, and his thoughts on it. It just doesn't pan out, pardon the pun. So, and then today we did a video on the grandfather package that is gone. If you guys remember, I told you probably about a year and a half ago, I said, listen, you guys need to keep your, I guess it would be your residential plus portability combination. And this was way back at the very beginning. At the beginning, it was like $99 for residential, and it was $25 for portability. Then it went up to $120 for residential, and still $25 for portability. Portability was the ability to take your dish, uproot it, and then bring it to like another house somewhere. So like if you are a snowbird and, half the season you're, down here in Florida and the other half you're up north, let's say, and you have 2 homes, or maybe you're in an RV and you're traveling, you're going from state to state to state, having the ability to have this portability plan for $25 was well worth it. Well worth it. Well, they finally not only discontinued it, they did in I think it was 2023, but now just next month they're going to be ripping it out completely. I always said that, when you have a grandfathered package, you should be grandfathered in perpetuity, but even AT&T does it. If you have a grandfathered package, what they will do is instead of taking it away from you, they'll make it so difficult. They'll make your life miserable to keep it, and then give you a bunch of benefits to get rid of it to try to get you away from that grandfathered in plan. So that's how AT&T works. SpaceX is like, nope, we're just taking it away. Matter of fact, in a month from now, you have to figure out, what do you want? Do you want just residential, or do you want us to move you over to roaming? And if you go to roaming, it's $165 a month in comparison to the $145. But the bottom line here is, before I go running on and on, the bottom line with this is that when you go and pick up the roaming plan, you're not just getting, what's going on? There's a launch. Oh, this launch happened today. Let me throw that on while we're chatting here. There's a fly in here. This thing is going to be bothering me all night. I'm going to spray it. Anyways, so what was I saying? Anyways, yeah. So the thing is with the portability, that is okay. But if you go to a certain location, what we found out is if there is like no connection there, this connectivity is not that great, or they have a waiting list or whatever, congestion, you're not going to get service. Whereas if you have the roaming plan, you will get service, no matter where you go, even if it's in a location that currently has a waiting list or something. So there is benefits. And then also you could take your dish and just keep it in the continental US. You can actually take that dish to another country and still use it, as long as it works in that country. So anyways, let's see who else is here, because I did ramble. I don't have any kicks. There should be some kicks, because if Fabiola was here, she would have already kicked me like 10 times. Let's see. Low-Tech Greg says, here and playing with a pie. Gotta love playing with pie. Ken Harris says, hello from Ontario. How you doing, Ken? Let's see. Moving on. Honey Badger, 2 captains. If you have a question, put a Q before your question, or at JCristina. Once again, a Q before your question, or at JCristina. It makes it nice and easy. Let's see. Galagirl says, did you respond yet from your website? Not sure I saw yet anything from you. Maybe, I don't know. Galagirl, did you send an email? I didn't check email today, but if you sent something like yesterday, the day before, I should have seen it. So something is off there. Anyways, send me another email or send me another message over on JCristina.com. How you doing, Ron? Thank you for being here. Dev. Let's see. What is the nearest pop for Yemen? That's a good question. I really don't know where the nearest pop is for Yemen. There is a map that shows like different locations of where the pops are, but the thing is they're not like, it's not official. So I hate showing it because I'm not sure, because there's new ones that are constantly coming up. And that is one of the things that I talked about in like 2 days ago, the video that I talked about the pops. More pops are coming up, and it's going to speed things up. But the reason it's going to speed things up is because the point of presence, the pop, is going to be closer to you, but there's going to be less people on it, so less congestion. That's why it'll be faster. I was telling you guys that doing the math, I have a pop that's 70 miles away in Miami, and then I have a pop that they used to send me to, which is Atlanta, Georgia, and that's 700 miles away. So it's 10 times the distance. And I was doing the math on it, and basically sending through fiber from me to Miami, which would be 70 miles, takes about 0.5, let's call it 5 milliseconds. So half a millisecond. Going 700 miles instead of 70 takes 0.56. Literally a tenth of a millisecond. So does it really make too much of a difference? Not really. The speed difference is going to be in the amount of throughput that these pops can provide, because they're going to be less congested as they put more and more pops out there. So we want to see more pops. We definitely want to see more pops. Let's see who else we got here. Moving on, Pi Ping from Yemen, 90 to 200. And that's a pretty decent ping. That's pretty high from Yemen. But there's got to be no pop near you. It's probably in another country. George, how you doing? Thank you for being here. Renee. Oh, so lips are not matching up with voice. Yes. So check this out. I was using another system, and for some reason it stopped working. So I plugged in just before I went on a new one, and this new one has additional built-in latency. So let me try something. Okay, I'm going to do something and see if I can get this to fix live. Maybe I'll break it, and if I break it, then I'm sorry. We'll see. Hopefully not. So right now we have 175 milliseconds of latency. Okay, look at my voice, right? Look at my lips, and tell me if this gets better or worse. All right, so hold on just a second. Bear with me. So we're going to increase this to 300. Okay, let me hit close, and that's it. So now we're at 300 milliseconds. I'm going to go down to the bottom of the chat. Elizabeth, thank you so much for your super chat. Really, really do appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So looking at my lips, snapping my fingers, is it matching? We're at 300 milliseconds right now. Tell me if it's slow or fast. Is my voice showing up after or before? Still off? Slow. Okay. So I'm speaking and then the voice shows up later. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and change it. Hold on. We might as well give it a shot, right? That's what this is all about. We're just hanging out, learning something. All right. So we're going to go down to 50 milliseconds. That fly just flew by me. All right, so now we're down to 50 milliseconds. I'm going to snap. Is it better or is it worse? Is it better or is it worse? Tell me. Come on now. In the chat, let me know. Is it better or is it worse? Is it better? Way worse. Okay, so that means the delay is in the other direction. All right, no worries. So we're going to move this up to, let's do 400 milliseconds. Or, yeah, let's do maybe 400 milliseconds. There we go. All right, there we go. That's 400 milliseconds now. Let me know if the voice is better or worse. Better or worse. I sound like an eye doctor. Is it better or is it worth doing this deal? Oh, man. It's better? Okay, 400 milliseconds. So it was at 300 and was off. 400 is better. Is it still off by a little bit? Is it a little bit slow? It says, all right, let me go to 500 milliseconds. There we go. So now we're at 500 milliseconds. Tell me if that's better. We should be getting closer to in sync now. It's good for me? All right. All right. We'll leave it at 500 milliseconds. I could dial it in exact through like DaVinci Resolve or something, but obviously doing it live, we kind of just have to wing it, so to speak. So, all right, we started out at 175 milliseconds. We now have a delay of 500 milliseconds. And that's the thing, you know, when I wish, you know what? I'm going to unplug this thing so you can see it. All right. So this is what I was using. Not bad. It's called the Game Dock Ultra. Okay. I'm using Linux right now, just so you know. It's called EasyCap. Okay. What it is an external. You see that you have HDMI in, HDMI out. You have your USB-C over here, and you have audio. What this will do is it'll bring your camera's audio and video into the computer and basically turn it digital. Okay. But This one is pretty damn good. There's only a 175 millisecond delay with this. It doesn't work anymore, but there's a 175 millisecond delay with this. The other one that I got, which is like this Amazon special piece of trash, as you can see, we're at like, what, 500 millisecond delay, and it still might not be perfect, the lip sync. We can dial it in, but still, that just gives you an idea on the difference between the quality of some of these things. I did a review on some of them, and I found that just a lot of them are complete trash. They're just rebrands of the same garbage with all the exact same delays and everything. So I'm going to be picking up some others. Like I was saying, I was going to be doing some more Linux stuff. So Linux will be coming. David, thank you so much for the super chat. Really do appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Wow. Really appreciate it. And thank you, Elizabeth Short. Appreciate you too for that super chat. It really helps out a lot. Let's see. Who else is here? We got Scott from South Carolina. How you doing, Scott? Thank you for being here. It says, I had a 2-inch snowfall. Oh my God, 2-inch snowfall. You know what? Hold on. We need some snow, right? Let's get some snow going. Can we get some snow going? I don't know if we can. Can we get snow? No? Damn. No snow on this page. All right. Well, you know what? This is over. So I'm going to bring us over to this screen and we're going to get some snow. Okay? Might as well put some snow because it is damn cold. I'm just going to let the snow fall, I think, tonight. So, yeah, it was crazy. I can't even believe it. 9 inches of snow in the panhandle of Florida. I think the most they ever had was like 4 or 5 inches in that specific location. Kind of crazy. Kind of crazy. It is cold everywhere. It's that global warming shit, you know? It's just getting extremely hot. Let's see. Get that damn fly. David said, yeah. You know what I usually do, David? Do you guys remember Aquanet? It's like the stuff you spray in your hair and the damn shit is like hard like a brick. It's unbelievable, right? What I'll do is I'll see the fly come by and I'll just hit, that's it. That damn thing is hard and stiff. Yeah, it's a board. It hits the floor and that's it. I throw them outside. Very easy. No pesticide, nothing. just a little bit of Aquanet. Done. Thing is finished. Can't fly. That's it. He's solid. That's my fly tactic. There you go. Let's see. Ricky Joe says audio ahead of lips. Audio ahead of lips. Interesting. So that means we're a little bit too far. We pushed it. The 500 is a little bit much. Let me see. Hey, I'm going to look in the chat real quick. I just want to dial it in just slightly better. Look at the snap. Is it ahead or is it behind? Is it ahead or is it behind? Let me know. Let's see. Going back up here. Going back 5 by 5. Let's see. Elizabeth. If you guys have any questions, once again, put a Q before your question or at JCristina. Q before your question or at JCristina. It just makes it easy. I can find it a lot easier. Close enough for government work. Thanks a lot. That's from Ski Dog 99. Yeah, pretty much. Close enough for government work. It says, you're good now. I said that before you got to 500. Okay, thanks a lot, Ricky Joe. Appreciate that. So we'll leave it at 500. We'll leave it at 500. David says, question. You still doing professional photography? I am. I'm not doing as much of it, but what I'll do is if someone calls on it, I will still do it. I was a professional photographer for many years, over a decade. Well, actually, probably like 2.5 decades, but actually doing it all the time. I literally have just terabytes of photos. But what I started doing is I was doing photos here in the just after 99, 2000, 2005, somewhere on there. And I've been in Palm Beach for all of this time. So what ends up happening in Palm Beach is you have a very affluent crowd, and they don't trust very many photographers. And the reason being is the majority of the photographers will sell the photos to magazines. I can't tell you how many magazines have called me for photos. 10 grand, 15 grand for a single photo. Crazy. But it just ruins your reputation, and it's just a quick fix. And then you're out of big gigs. So I've been doing a lot of work from down in, I guess it would be down all the way down south in Aventura, all the way up to here, Palm Beach. And I was working for a long time out of Mar-a-Lago. So a lot of the different events that were happening over there, that was before Trump was a president. That was even before he was the 45th president. I was working in there and many times. So I've been working in this whole circuit all the time. So if there is a big event that's happening, I might get a call and I'll go out and do it. But I'm not continuously looking for clients. I have plenty of clients, and when something comes up and it's big, then I'll kind of do it. So yeah, I'm still doing the photography, but just not as much of it. I'm doing more of videography. I'm also a DP, a director of photography, and for a while back there, I was helping out with a few of the let's say episodic TV programs. So that's I really like that. I would say as much or even better than the photography side of it. But I went to school for all of it, right? I went to 3 colleges because I still don't even know what I want to do when I grow up. I went to school for child psychology. Went to college for commercial art and advertising design, photography and videography. And then I also went to school for computer science. And so it's 3 colleges. And like I said, I don't know. So I literally, what's really interesting is I use all of it, right? The child psych, I'm using psych all the time, right? No matter, you can't lose that. That's just something that you do. The computer stuff, I'm doing that on a daily basis all the time, right? Sitting in Linux all the time. I'm a system administrator also. And then the artwork I'm constantly doing with the videography and the photography. So oddly enough, all 3 colleges are being used by me, which that doesn't make a lot of sense, but that's just how it ends up turning out. So anyways, that was me rambling on and on. I see a bunch of bananas. Yes, loving the bananas. If you have a question, put a Q before your question or at JCristina. Q before your question or at JCristina. Hammered game fishing. You in sync, bud. I appreciate that. Thank you. 500 milliseconds to get this damn thing in sync. This one was 175 milliseconds. I had a Elgato card, 50 milliseconds. That just shows the difference between the quality. The problem with Elgato is they don't write any drivers for Linux. And I've only been using Linux now for, 5 months, 6 months. My Windows is still here. Dusty. It hasn't been back in. I know I need to put it back. I don't want to, though. I don't want to. I've been using this Linux for at least 5, maybe even 6 months now. And that's it. It just has no problem. So why use the Windows? If there's nothing that I need from it, I'll leave Billy the Kid's junk where it is, and I'll just use Linux. Let's see. Arnold Smith says, I'm running MX Linux on a workstation Dell, a 3620. That's awesome. MX Linux is a good package. Really lightweight. It does the job. It's a workhorse. It does a really good job. Tim says, hey, from San Antonio. How you doing? Thank you for being here, Tim. Dominic, how are you doing? Black Hawk, how are you? Out of Oklahoma. Got some snow. Jeez. Yes, David, global warming. Lots of global warming. Renee, loving the poops. Luke, thank you for being here. Howdy from Kingston, Jamaica. Love it, Jamaica. It's been a while. It's been a little bit since we were in Jamaica. Need to go back again. We were there for a wedding one time, and we were in the mountains in this church that was like an open air church. Like there was no windows. It was a structure. It was made out of stone. It was this beautiful, beautiful church. Absolutely amazing. I loved it. Jamaica's absolutely. The only problem with Jamaica for me is that you really can see how the island is full of have and have-nots, right? You either have, or you have not. Yeah. So, but that's just the way it is. I loved it though. It's a lot of fun. It's absolutely gorgeous, beautiful, beautiful. Elizabeth, once again, thank you so much. Says 80s glue. David, add the lighter to that. Scott from South Carolina, I bought a 3 router TP-Link a few months back. Should I be afraid to use it? Nah. So TP-Link is currently, I don't know, they're having an issue. Okay, they might get banned in the U.S. because, they're being they don't say it, but they're probably being subsidized by the CCP, by the Chinese Communist Party, and the U.S. government just fears that they'll be able to break in or, stage a massive DDoS, a denial of service attack or something through these routers. And the reason there's a major problem is because of their price. The TP-Link routers, and I'm sure if you've bought a TP-Link router in the past, you know that if you look at the price of the router, let's say the TP-Link router is $100. If you look at an equal router by another company, it will be 25, 50, sometimes 100% more expensive. Why is that? I personally think they're being subsidized, because how else do you do it? No other company, it doesn't matter if it's a US-based company or another Chinese-based company, none of them can do it for the same price as TP-Link. So what they first did is they banned all TP-Link routers from the government. So they cannot buy TP-Link routers. The same thing with DJI. The government cannot use DJI drones. Okay, that's just it. So they're thinking about banning completely TP-Link from the US. So we'll see what ends up happening with that. I haven't heard anything recently. If any of you have, let me know. Clue me in, because I missed the memo if something has changed. So that's kind of like the skinny of what's going on there. We'll see. We'll see. It's the same thing with TikTok, right? They were going to turn off TikTok. They actually did. They shut down TikTok for like a day or two, and you can't like download TikTok from your Apple store, from your Google store, from your Microsoft. You can't download it from anywhere. And then you can again. The same thing holds true with their, what is that extra package that they had? CapCut, I think it is. Yeah, CapCut, which they use for cutting video. They banned that too. Why? Because once again, it's completely controlled by the CCP. If you don't believe that TikTok is controlled by the CCP, then you're just, you're delusional. That's just it. But now, is it an amazing package? Yes. Is it used by millions and millions of people in the US to make money? Yes. And that's one of the problems. So they're trying to divest them and have it owned or partially owned in the United States. So Trump said, you know what, we're gonna sign this executive order saying we're gonna stop the ban of TikTok for, I think it was like 75 days or something, so we can review it and see what we can do. So I don't know. We'll see what ends up happening. All right, let's see. Who else do we have here? Once again, if you have a question, put a Q before your question or at JCristina. Q before your question or at JCristina. Ricky Joe says, it showed a car covered in snow in Crestview, Florida. Really? That's just nuts. That is crazy. It is crazy. Hammered Fish, or Hammered Game Fishing, says, let's see, what do you call a fly without wings? A walk. I like it. I like it. Don't worry, that fly, he's going to be a walk. You ever see what the Chinese people do with flies? Look up some videos. You'll see them. They do some crazy stuff. They will sit there with they will abuse the damn flies, like literally, like crazy. Anyways, yeah, there's like videos on this stuff. I'm like, what the hell? These people got way too much time on their hands. Renee says, look good. Fiber, awesome. Yeah, so we're running on fiber. We're running on T-Mobile home internet, and we're also, of course, running on SpaceX Starlink. Still the Generation 2. Did not pick up the Generation 3. I just don't need it. The Generation 2 is just working. I'm pulling some crazy numbers, guys. I'm telling you, my ping with SpaceX Starlink is sitting at about, on the low side, 15 milliseconds. Then it fluctuates into the upper teens and then maybe 24, 25. That's crazy good for Starlink. I mean, that's some crazy ping. I mean, fiber, my ping with fiber is like 4 to 6 ping. SpaceX Starlink on the lowest side that I've seen was like 13 or 14 milliseconds. That's just unbelievable. Now, my pop is 70 miles away. It's close, right? Number one. Like I said before, that doesn't matter. But what that means is that pop down in Miami doesn't have as much congestion as the pop in Atlanta, Georgia, which makes sense because Atlanta, Georgia pop takes care of a lot. So Miami is all the way down here, 700 miles into the peninsula. So it's only taking care of people in South Florida, pretty much, maybe Florida. So that's why I'm getting such amazing pings, thankfully. It's awesome. So, but yeah, I'm using all three bonded together on a Raspberry Pi. I always tell you guys, bonded together on a Raspberry Pi with those three ISPs coming into it and with failover and fallback set up on it using OpenWRT. And I'm using, what else am I using? I'm using MWAN 3 for doing the multi-WAN stuff. So that's what I'm using currently. Let's see. George says image magnification. It was so difficult in the early 2000s until we went to fiber and faster pass-through. Yes, yeah. I mean, fiber has been a game changer for everything. And I tell people all the time, if you have SpaceX Starlink, that's fantastic. If you could ever get fiber, get fiber. But I've always told you also that even if I ever got fiber, we've been here at this location since 1999. That's how long it was. We just got fiber last month. Okay. So, and I told you guys, even if I do get fiber, I'm still going to keep SpaceX Starlink as a redundant backup and bond all of them together. There's no reason not to. And that's the same reason why I have T-Mobile's home internet still. I have 3 because I like redundancy, That's just this is my business. My stuff is all internet based, so I'm on the web continuously doing stuff. So I can't be down for 10 minutes or for a half an hour or who knows, because fiber goes down a lot. People think that just you have fiber and all of a sudden it's like the end all be all. It's not. It goes down. I've had already twice, I think, where it went down for like 5-10 minutes because they were doing stuff in the neighborhood. But I just saw that it passed over from the fiber to the Starlink, and then I got a message on my phone. It's like, hey, you just lost connection. I'm looking. I'm like, oh, hey, I didn't even realize it. I'm currently on Starlink. That's just it. And the thing is if for some reason Starlink dies at that moment, it'll just pass over to T-Mobile. So I will never be down. Well, never, unless there's some kind of catastrophe, because we have kind of all bases covered, right? We have non-terrestrial, which is satellite. We have terrestrial, which is your fiber. And then we have the wonderful 5G. So we got everything. So, but I'm just going to keep it like that. There's no reason. I know it's expensive just to have all of these on here, but I would rather have the redundancy. Let's see. Mark says President is in California talking sense. Live now. I believe it. He was just in North Carolina like an hour ago or something. It's I don't care if you like Trump or you don't like Trump. You have to just give it to this man. He is not a young dude. But this guy just goes and goes and goes and goes. He puts 30-year-olds to shame. I mean, that dude is just going. He's got shit to do, and he's going to go get it done, whatever it is. If you like whatever it is he's doing or not, he's going to go get it done. So, yeah, it's kind of crazy, absolutely crazy. But, yeah, so now he's in California. I don't know. Like I said, he was in North Carolina just a minute ago. So, I don't know. Let's see. George says, integrity. Yeah. Cheers from Doug Jones. How you doing, Doug? Appreciate you being here. Hello. That's from Arizona. Blackhawk. Let's see. So we ever actually grow up? I don't think so. I still haven't grown up. And I still don't know what I want to do when I grow up. David says, you wear many hats. Absolutely the case. What a long, strange trip it's been. Rip. Oh, wow, yes. Jerry Garcia. Amazing. Yeah, time goes by. I think as I get older, too, more and more people seem to disappear, if you know what I'm saying. They're just gone. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. I see some kicks. I appreciate that, Tom. Thank you for those kicks. Kevin says, hi, JC. I'm here. Happy Friday. What do we got going on? Oh, let's see. Going to be AFK making dinner. No problem. Thank you for being here anyways, Kevin. Thank you. We'll be hanging out, so maybe you'll be back. Moving down. Let's see. Blackhawks, he was talking to Tom. We'll skip that. Once again, if you have a question, put at JCristina or put a Q before your question. That would work too. What is this music? Stop with this music. All right, let's see. Is all that music that you just heard, because it's SpaceX, that junk in the background, it'll probably demonetize this whole live. Not even a joke. This is how they are. Yeah. Bad. It's just bad. Let's see. Doug says, and Trump likes TikTok. Yeah, I don't think that Trump likes TikTok. I think that many people that supported him have a horse in the race, and he needs to say thank you. That's my personal opinion. All right? So take it for what you will. I don't know. That's what I think. Let's see. George says there was a problem years ago with baby cams and cheap camera surveillance. They were being used for DDoS or denial of service attacks. Yes, there's a lot of IoT devices that have been used for denial of service attacks over the years, and people don't even know about it. But yes, absolutely, that is the case. Let's see. My TP-Link was made in Vietnam. There you go. It doesn't really make too much of a difference where it's made. The main thing is the firmware and who controls the firmware, and it still is China. CCP, the Chinese Communist Party. That's just the way it is. Sadly, but that's the way it is, Scott. Eric says, JCristina, good news. I bought a Hunter Biden original painting on eBay for 99 cents. Good job. That's a good buy. It seems like the Chinese market demand for these are drying up. Yes. For some reason, I don't know what it is. Like, the Chinese were just really loving Hunter Biden's paintings, and then, I don't know, they're not as in demand anymore. So you got yours for 99 cents. Who knows? Something big might happen, and it might just rocket back up to a couple of $1 million. Just saying. I'm just saying. I don't know. Did you hear that he pardoned Fauci? Did you guys hear that? That Biden pardoned Fauci literally the last day he was there. What do you guys think about that? What do you think about Biden pardoning Fauci? How can you pardon someone that is not convicted of anything? How is that even possible? Can you pardon someone for nothing? You just pardon them for, I don't know, in perpetuity? So if they ever do anything, they're pardoned? I mean, I don't know. Is that even a thing? I don't think that's possible, is it? You guys let me know. I don't know. Just seems very strange to me. Very, very strange. Let's see. Ricky Joe says, did you dump AT&T yet? You know what? We dumped AT&T, Ricky Joe. Thank you for asking. Thank you. I should have told you guys. Yes. Just like I think it was last week or something, we called AT&T and told them to go and frickin' pound sand. They have screwed us for so many years. They have promised us fiber for 32 years. And they had fiber at the can, at the D-Slam, which is that box. They've had fiber at that can for over 15 years. And that's all they did was take that fiber and convert it into DSL, not even DSL, into UVerse. That's what they did. And pumped UVerse out to the houses. I was getting 15 megabits down and 1.5 megabits up. And they wanted like 60 some dollars for that. That should be illegal. That should be illegal. That's my personal opinion. That should be illegal. That's why I really cannot stand AT&T. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how else to look at it. That's just me. That's just me. Let's see. Blackhawk says still sitting around 30 to 40 here. Wow. But I'm bouncing off a Dallas pop. 30 to 40 milliseconds isn't bad. Remember, Elon Musk has said, and he says it all the time when he's gaming. I watch him because I'm a nerd, right? So I'll watch him play like Diablo 4 or PoE 3. And when you watch him play the video game, he will interact with the audience and say things and release things that he would never usually do, which is really kind of interesting, really cool. You'll hear stuff kind of like behind the scenes, basically. And he said it on multiple occasions while he was playing the video game live. He's like, we need to get this below 20 milliseconds. Because to play video games properly, you need to be below 20 milliseconds, period. And for me, like I said, I am below 20 milliseconds a lot of times. Not all the time, but a lot of times, which is really amazing, considering they have not put the new satellites up there in orbit yet. So we're still using the version 2.0 minis. No 3.0s yet, because, of course, Starship hasn't, let's say, made it into space. Everything is, a suborbital venture. And then sometimes the suborbital venture ends up blowing up like it did the last time. So I don't know. We need to get that thing into orbit so we can launch some of those version 3s. Everyone's going to be happy about that because everyone's pings are going to get better, latency better. Your upload and download speed will be better. And also your reliability is going to be better. You're not going to end up with having like a limited reliability, right? Or a limited amount of connectivity, let's say. And that is because there's going to be a greater amount of capacity. So the version 3 Starlink satellites, instead of being, let's say, I think it's 4. Yeah. So the version 3s in comparison to the version 2 minis, the version 3s are 4 times the size, but 10 times the capacity. So it's basically 10 to 1. So for every version 3 satellite they launch, it's going to be the equivalent to launching 10 of the version 2.0 minis. So it's a big deal. It is a very big deal. And I'm here for it. I am here for it. Let's see. My Starlink, this is from SkyDog99. It says, my Starlink has just recently started showing Miami, wow, on my speed test. Pings are in the mid-30s. Exactly. And you're located in north central Florida. Perfect. That is the case. That is absolutely the case, which is really awesome. If you think about it, that's really awesome. Because what that means is you're in Central Florida, you're also bouncing off of Miami instead of Atlanta, Georgia. That to me means Atlanta, Georgia is fully saturated. Miami is up and coming. So for now, you're going to get, and I will get also, using that pop, better latency. And that's what's happening right now. Scott, thank you so much for the super chat. Really do appreciate that. Thank you. It says, thank you for the RP or TP link info. Let's see. I was worried I had a set of 3 deco paperweights. Yeah. So don't worry about it for right now. Just hang in there. I did a video on kind of hardening your TP link or any router for that matter. So go back in the SpaceX Starlink list and maybe about, I don't know, 5, 10, maybe 12 videos ago, look into that. And I forgot the name of it, but maybe I'll see if I can find it. But go and watch that because I show people how to secure or how to lock down their routers. Now, everything that I teach you in that video will help immensely, just absolutely immensely. But if they do have a back door built into it through firmware, through something that is actually, let's say an EEPROM that was written, and it sits there dormant, laden, and then whenever they want to turn it on, they can. If that is the case, there's really not too much you can do about it. But for the most part, we're locking the damn thing down. So definitely look at that video, and I think it will help. I think it will help you out for sure. I will see if I can find that also. I'm going to go over to the website and see if I can find it. Let me see. In the meantime, let's go into here. Tim says a 2025 studio tour. I've been saying that. I've been threatening to do a studio tour forever. This place is such a damn mess right now. I mean, I would feel embarrassed. I mean, I have boxes and boxes. The amount of stuff that people send to me that you guys don't even see, that I never review because it's complete shit, is unbelievable. They just keep sending me stuff. Even when I say don't send it, they still will send it. Anyways, yeah, so I'm going to have to figure some of this stuff out. Maybe I'm going to have to start moving some of this into the garage. I don't know. Something has got to happen because there's just way too much stuff. So, yeah, a studio tour would be something that maybe we'll get into, and I'll show you around what I have going on over here. Let's see. Moving down here, let me see if there's, I don't want to miss any questions. Let's see. Ricky Joe said, did AT&T want the gateway back, or are you going to run it over? That's a good question. They did not ask for the gateway back. I'm going to give them a month before they oh, yes, that gateway was $150 that you just ran over. So, yes, I will run that damn thing over, though. It's sitting there still plugged in. I don't know why, but I have it plugged in, wasting electricity. Skydog says Windstream also charged some extremely high prices for crappy ADSL. Yes, I remember the ADSL ages and ages ago. Holy crap! Peter Gosling is here. Thank you so much. Wow, 50 free memberships. People, do you see what's going on there? You might be getting a free membership. I'm not going to read all these people, but look at this. Maybe I'll read some of them. Jeffrey. Look at all these people that are getting the free memberships. Let's see, Alexia. Let's see, Ann, Tony, NetBlock, Jeff, Luis. There's a ton in here. Listen, if you guys don't know it, Peter just gifted you, a lot of you, 50 of you, a free membership. Say thank you. Say thank you. That is awesome. Peter, I really do appreciate all of your support. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Let me see. Once again, thank you, Scott, for that super chat. Really appreciate that. And yes, just hang in there. Those decos are not paperweights as of yet. Just hang in there. Hang in there. And definitely watch that video. Check that out. That's going to help out a lot. Doug says, question, ping rate on the Generation 2 Starlink, 29 milliseconds has been great. 150 milliseconds or 100 megabits down and 29 megabits up. That is awesome. Trace route, it says, trace route, you will see DNS slow down. Yes. It says those on true POP servers on Starlink, other servers are creating the latency. Yes. So you're right. A lot of people don't realize why there's latency when you do certain speed tests or when you're, let's say, doing a trace route to a specific site. A lot of the latency happens not from the backbones, because the backbones have massive fiber connections, right? Most of the latency happens on the ground in these little small hops to get to the location where they're trying to go. The good thing with SpaceX Starlink, the way they work, is that when you send out a request for, let's say, Google or something, the request goes through your router, goes to your dish. From the dish, it goes up to a satellite. From that satellite, it comes back down to a ground station near you. That ground station fires off that request through fiber optic cable to the POP, wherever your POP is, and then your POP, which is sitting on the backbone, will put out that request to Google, for example. Google replies, gets the data back to the POP sends it to the ground station sends it back to the satellite sends it back down into your dish and then into your computer. That's how it works. Now, that's very short. That's a very few number of hops. But when you do trace routes, okay, depends on the server, you might have to go through multiple servers, many servers to get to that location, and that's where you end up getting or seeing a lot of latency. And it really depends on what servers you go through. Some of them are going to have more latency than others. I used to work on fiber channels in a NOC, or a network operations center, down in Miami, down in Boca Raton, in the old IBM building. All right, and I saw there's just massive servers that are running there, colos that are running all side by side. It's just amazing, absolutely amazing. Anyways, I digress. But yes, thank you for that information about what you're getting with your pings and whatnot. Let's see. Moving on, I remember working on 100 baud. Yes. So Mark, you used to work on 100 baud. So I started out running a bulletin board, a BBS, way back in the day in the 80s on an Apple computer with, I think it was like 12 phone lines. Okay, I think it was like 10 or 12 phone lines. And each phone line, they started out with 1200 baud modems. Then we moved to 2600 baud modems. And finally, we hit the Grandmaster Mac Daddy, which were 5200 baud modems. So yeah, I remember back in the day with all these slow baud modems. It was just amazing, but they did the trick, right? BBSs were just a lot of fun. That's where all of this started, right? It was non-graphical. So, anyways, I digress, as I always do. Let's see. Moving on. Doug says, question. Oh, I got to Doug. I got Doug's. Let me see. Here we go. Black Hawk says, JC, don't need to convince me. After getting Starlink, my internet is already 100% plus what it used to be. I used to get through Viasat. Holy crap. Blackhawk, yes, Viasat has always been shit. Some people had Viasat, some people had HughesNet. They're all geocentric. They're all geo satellites. They're sitting at 36,000 kilometers compared to 550 kilometers. Which is just night and day. You're talking about latency that we're seeing here. Under 20 milliseconds is what I'm getting. People with Viasat and with HughesNet and all the rest of this trash, they're seeing latency from 700, 800, 1,000 milliseconds. Holy crap, guys. Holy crap. I mean, anyone that has Viasat or HughesNet today, and they're not considering SpaceX Starlink, I don't even know. I don't even know. I don't get it. That's all that I can say. I don't get it. Ricky Joe says, I can say this with AT&T, their DSL and UVerse service may be trash, but their internet air is pretty good. I get 150 plus megabits down and 25 megabits up. Latency is 25 to 60 milliseconds, and that's for unlimited for $60 a month. Yes. So it's going through 5G, so that makes sense, right? So it's the same thing using AT&T Internet Air or using Verizon Home Internet or using T-Mobile Home Internet. It doesn't make a difference. They're all the same. They are basically using the 5G but giving you unlimited. What they should have did years ago, they're now doing in your home instead of in your hand. Yes. Let's see. Nicholas says, it's kind of crazy. It started with a 28. A 28.8, yes. I remember the 28.8. What was it? 19.2, 28.8, 5200, 50, yeah. You know the thing. Crazy how the time has gone by. I don't even know. 300 baud modems. Nuts. Absolutely nuts. I still have an ADSL. Guys, at this location in 1999, I purchased and I had run to this house, or the home, a T1, 1.5 megabits up, 1.5 megabits down. And it cost $1,270 per month. That's what I was paying, $1,270 a month. And then when they came out with DSL, because they ended up putting mini RAMs in my DSLAM over here, they put little mini RAMs. They put 6 mini RAMs in there, and I bought 2. I immediately got them, 2. So I had 2 DSL, not even UVerse, DSL coming in here at the very beginning. And then I was bonding them together. Anyways, that ended up being like $60, $70 a month instead of $1,270. And it was 10 times faster. Holy shit. Anyways, yeah, how things have changed, right? How things have changed. Question. This is from Peter. Peter says, if they want to thank me, they can like, share, and subscribe. That's very nice. Thank you so much, Peter. Really do appreciate that. Yes, if you guys are just hanging out, like, share. The biggest thing, honestly, I always say like, share, subscribe, and all that stuff. The biggest thing is sharing. Because when you share the channel with someone else and they share it with someone else, that's how we grow it, right? Like, YouTube doesn't even care. Like, we have subscribers, like we hit 100,000 subscribers, I think it was last year at the very end of the year. Now we're in, we're already in 2025 and we're at like, I don't know, 125,000 subscribers, which is great. It's not bad. It's fantastic. I love it. But it's funny how subscribers really doesn't mean jack when it comes to YouTube. YouTube wants people to see and to frequent the video and be on the videos longer. That's all that they want. They don't care about anything else. And that's why if you give a channel like a thumbs up or if you give them a thumbs down, it's equally as good. People don't think that. They think that they're doing something that's like bad or something. It's not. YouTube actually likes it. They don't care because there's interaction. They're like, oh yeah, they hate it. That's cool. Let's put advertising on it. That's how they work. Let me see here. Glacier Good says, I'm sure you noticed the DNS manual settings and the malware settings is on the app are disabled. Yes, it is. I've been on with customer service and they said very soon the problem will be fixed. So, Glacier Good, I didn't realize that, to be honest with you. I didn't realize that malware settings were turned off. So, malware settings is basically only one thing. It is routing your traffic through SpaceX Starlink instead of through Cloudflare. It's routing it through their malware server or their adult content server, and that's it. So the only thing I can think of is there's some kind of routing problem going on because Cloudflare is still there and they're doing a great job. So why, there's a problem? It's probably a firmware thing. They probably did an update to something. They broke something. That happens all the time. Anyways, I digress. Once again, as always do, good old BBSs. Yes, Peter. Yes. You remember the Dahlia match, BBS? Me and that guy go back a long way. I ran a BBS down here. I don't know if you guys ever heard of it. It's called the Twilight Zone. And it was a big hacker BBS. We used to we used to do plans, black box plans, blue box plans, red box plans, all kinds of stuff, all kinds of hacking stuff. That was just what I did when I was a kid. I was 13 and I was writing EPROMs in assembly code. That was just what I did. And anyways, so yeah. I enjoyed it. I really did enjoy the BBS thing. I didn't enjoy when there was FBI and CIA and like all of these 3-letter people pulled up to my parents' home when I had the BBS up because of some things that were going on in the BBS that I didn't even know about in the back end. So, but yeah. It was definitely an interesting time. Definitely an interesting time. I've always been like the hacker guy. People don't really know that, but that's who I am. I enjoy it. But it's all white hat stuff. I don't do any of the hacking anymore that I would do when I was like a kid. Anyways, said I ran ran a BBS on a 2400 baud modem. That was from Ryan. Yes, yes. Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, the Twilight Zone was a big one. I mean, we were in the magazines. You know, it was like a whole thing. Let's see. Moving on. Got some thank yous for Peter. Peter, thank you once again. Let me see. Yes, if you have a question, put a Q before your question or at JCristina. Either way. Q before your question or at JCristina. Black Hawk says, I know the stream is slow from what I see. Yes, it is a little bit slow. But what you said about Viasat? Yes, the moment from yeah. So it is that. It is that. I mean, Viasat is what it is. You know, it's been junk. HughesNet has been junk, and they've been raping the public for so many years with such just shitty service. And then what they ended up doing towards the end is locking people into like these 1 year and 2 year contracts so that people couldn't get away. Okay. But as of now, they have lost over 50% or 60% of their user base. And that's probably the majority of it has to do with people sticking around because they still have a contract. They don't want to pay like $200-300 right there. Like, whatever. We'll just wait. So, yeah, Nicholas says T1 was blazing fast back then, right? It was. And it was, it was symmetrical. I mean, you didn't find symmetrical anything. So if you wanted to upload anything, you would need like a T, some type of T1 or T3 would be even nicer, right? Remember the T3s? But, yeah, it was expensive. Very, very expensive. Let's see. Moving on. Let's see. Rick Joe says AT&T won't offer DSL, UVerse, or traditional land phone service soon. They're cutting all copper. Absolutely. Yeah, I was talking about that, Ricky Joe. A few months back, I was telling people, I said, listen, copper is gone. AT&T does not want to service their lines anymore. All of that copper that's hanging on those lines, they don't want to service them. Those D-slams, those boxes that have all of those modems in there, where they have the fiber connection coming in there, and then they have all the modems that split that and send it off through copper, they don't want to replace those anymore. When you open those boxes, right, the D-slam, you see so many red lights, it looks like a damn Christmas tree. What that means, every one of those red lights that you see is a modem that's down. And then what these AT&T workers do, because they know they can't get new modems, they literally will take one modem out of this one, and then they'll stick it into this one. And they'll take the modem out of here, and they'll stick it into there. It was like robbing from Peter to pay Paul. Horrible. Absolutely. What a horrible company. The stuff that they used to do, God, I don't even know. Let me see. Ski Dog 99 says my dad also ran a BBS in West Palm Beach back in the 80s on a trash 99, on a TI 99. Really? I remember the trash 80s were like a big thing. TI 99s and the 4. So that's pretty cool. That's back in the 80s. So yeah, that was like the days. Those were the days. The BBS, the Twilight Zone that I was running was like 83, 4, 5, like right around there. 84 through 86, 87, 88, so yeah, 87, like right around there, right? The beginning of the early to mid 80s. That's when I was running the BBS for a bit. Let's see. Peter says you still have boxes of those modems that have never been used. Yes. All the banks, yeah, the waves, the modems there. It's like, yeah. I still have like ADSL modems. I have like, I got fiber channels, right? Because I do like knock work, and I was thinking one day, should I set up a fiber channel here? And I think about it, I'm like, it would be a fun project to do, but honestly, there's nothing that I do that I really need that speed for. you know. So, but it might be cool just to do something. I don't know. We'll see. Um, let's see. Moving on. Once again, at JCristina or put a Q before your question. Either which way. Doug says, you were, let me see, war driving back in, war driving back in the day, marking the sidewalks. Yes. Yeah. I don't know. One of the biggest projects that I worked on when I was a kid was a war dialer, and it was probably one of the best out there that would simultaneously war dial three prefixes at the same time, simultaneously, and record all of it. Now back then, that was like today, I would be able to do it in in minutes. But back then, that was a lot of work to be able to do that. But yeah, yeah, it was a war dialer. There was a bunch of other stuff that was in that, and the software, you were able to get it on like all of the bulletin boards. It was all like behind the scenes stuff. It was called Pirate Man's Treasure Chest, and in Pirate Man's Treasure Chest that I wrote, it not only had a war dialer, but it had a blue box built into it. Basically a tone generator back for dropping trunks and stuff like that. I know I'm talking over a lot of people's heads, but the people that actually get it are going to be like, holy shit, really? Anyways, yeah, that was like a thing. That was a thing back then. But yeah, I used to write all that. Don't do that anymore. I just don't. I don't. Let's see. Ricky Joe says, did you see the FCC granted AST Space Mobile permission to test AT&T service on their DTC, on their Bluebird satellite? I didn't see that, but I think that's great. AST, they are trying to compete with DTC, this direct to cell like SpaceX Starlink does. I think it's great, right? The difference is the number of satellites, the location of satellites. The other thing that you guys need to keep in mind, too, is that SpaceX Starlink, they ended up getting permission from the, I think it was the FCC, that granted them permission to lower their satellites from 550 kilometers down to 340 kilometers, literally like 200 kilometers closer to the planet. I did the math on that. That turns out to be 2 milliseconds. Those 200 kilometers ends up being about 2 milliseconds lower latency. Pretty damn good. Pretty damn good. So the new satellites are going to be in that lower orbital path. So that's exciting. I like to see that. Lower the better. Remember though, whenever you get lower, you're going to, these craft are going to experience greater forces, greater amount of atmospheric drag. Thus, the amount of propellant that they have on these Starlink satellites will only be able to facilitate them staying in orbit for a specific amount of time that's going to be less than the amount of time that they used to be at 550, right? So at 200 kilometers closer, their lifespan is going to be definitely reduced. So, but I don't think that Elon Musk gives too much of a shit. Because remember, they're launching them. They're like launching like sometimes 2 and 3 rockets a week, and they all have like 20 plus, 23, 28 satellites on board. So I don't think it matters. So there's a lot. There's a lot going on. First computer in 1981. That's Mark. Peter says, "Oh my God, it was fab, that site. I still have some of those plans somewhere." Really? You do? That's pretty cool. That's pretty interesting. I have some, a lot of my work I still have on floppies. Not even like hard floppies, but soft floppies from way back in the day. But that's the kind of thing that happens, you do stuff, and then unless you move forward with your backup techniques, you lose your stuff, right? people don't realize this. They do like a backup today, and they think in 10 years from now, everything that they backed up today is fine. And the thing is while, yes, the data might still be on those hard drives, there might not be, like, let's say it's a video. There might not be a codec anymore to even watch that video. So the video is basically useless. It might be a video of your kids or your family or a wedding or whatever. Once you can't view it anymore, it's basically ones and zeros that are not able to be interpreted. So, my suggestion for most people, especially like when you're a videographer or a photographer like me, is keep up with the codecs, keep up with what is going on, and if you need to every once in a while reinterpret your photos, do that, or your videos, do that, to keep them so that they're safe. Because if not, you end up with something that's unreadable. So you have it, but you don't have it at the same time, if you know what I'm saying. Shannon is here. Thank you so much. Look at that. Shannon gifted 10 memberships. Look at that. We're going to read it. Ben S. got a free membership. Hex Sailing got a free membership. SJ, Kevin, free membership. Long Range Precision Air Rifle Hunting. I like that. There's a name for you. The Spice, Robert, Julian, Morgan, and Kevin K. They all got free memberships. Say thank you to Shannon. Thank you, Shannon, for being here. Thank you for all of your support. Thank you, Peter. Thank you, everyone, for the super chats. They definitely help out a lot. Trust me. I was just talking. Now, it's like an intimate Free Speech Friday, because there's not a lot of people around today. It's just one of those days, that's just, we're just kind of hanging out. I swear, it's amazing how everything changes between January or December and January. It's like the companies just do not spend ads. They don't buy ads on YouTube once January hits, like January, February, because they just blew it all in November and December. So it's really odd how, you watch it. It's like, oh my God, look at how crazy, how slow everything is. That's what ends up happening. We got a question here. Gallagher says, have you seen those bed vacuums? A bed vacuum? I don't know. That cleans and sterilizes. I have not seen those. Do you have one? I do not have one. We have like Dyson and stuff like that, but not a bed vacuum. That sounds interesting. Very interesting. Phil the Brit, how you doing, Phil? Thank you for being here. It says, as to your white hat experience, how about the dark web? How scary is it in as to the amount of crime going on? Is it cartel-like size? So the dark web, everyone gets freaked out with the dark web. I mean, there's really nothing to freak out about. The dark web is basically the same as the web. It's just you don't have let's say the yellow pages for the dark web is a little bit more hard to get to. Okay? So that means like when we type in google.com, right? The web or a DNS server out there will interpret the google.com into an address. So let's say, which it isn't, but let's just say the address is 8.8.8.8 because it's their name server, right? Let's just say. So it interprets it for it. But now with the dark web, when you want to go to a specific, like an Onion site or something, when you go to that specific site, well, you don't have a way to get there unless you know exactly how to get there, right? Because you need to have like another yellow pages to do it, right? So it's just, yes, there's a lot of stuff that happens on the dark web, but I can tell you for certain there is a lot of people that are all white hat hackers that are sitting on the dark web monitoring shit all day long. So when these people get in there and these little, rootkit kitty, these rootkit, these little kitties that do they just love downloading like little viruses and all these little rootkits for trying to root into routers and all the rest of this stuff. They get caught all the time because they're being monitored on the dark web continuously. But people don't think that, especially when you get into the dark web for the first time. You're like, oh wow, this is like so cool, and then because you're able to see stuff that normally you wouldn't see, because these are like private sites that you have to have once again a means of getting there. There's not like I mean, there is, but let's just say there isn't a Google, so to speak, for the dark web. Anyways, I digress, as I always do. Look at this. Peter says Amiga-based BBS running. Yeah, my God, I remember the Amiga. Oh my God, I love the Amiga. That was a great system. People didn't realize how good the Amiga was. It was amazing, especially for graphics. Absolutely amazing back then. We're bringing back BBS in 2025. Can you imagine? Bring back a BBS. Everything is ANSI graphics, right? You know? Kind of like it. I kind of like it. Maybe I should do shirts with just ANSI graphics. You don't even see ANSI graphics anymore, right? That'd be kind of cool. Just like, and then you can see it from far away. Like, what the hell is that? And you look up close. It's all it is like X's and O's and. Oh man, I don't know. Fragile, how are you doing, Fragile NM? Thank you for being here. After the latest YouTube TV price increase, have you considered any alternatives? Every damn minute, like every month, it seems like YouTube is going up on their YouTube TV. When I originally got YouTube TV, it was like, I think it was like $60 some a month, 63, 62, 64, something like that. I don't even know what the hell I spend now. Fragile, how much is it now? I don't even know. Okay, they just rip it out of my account every month. Let me know how much is YouTube TV as of right this moment. I'm sure it's. I bet it's getting close to $100. Maybe like $80 some. I'm going to guess. I don't know. It's horrible. John Z says, I saw the Starlink satellite at low Earth orbit, pretty dang bright. Very low and bright in the sky. Yes, so you can see Starlink satellites most of the time when they're not in orbit, when they are getting to their orbital altitude. So when they're lower, right, when they first are placed, that's when you see the train of them. So you'll see like maybe 20 dots, 23 dots in a row. That's before they get to their location where they need to be. People don't realize this, but when they put these satellites into orbit, they're not sitting at 520, 550 kilometers, right? At the beginning. They come in around 300 plus, and then they push up from there over time. And it depends on what location they're trying to get to, what orbital angle, there's a lot that goes into it. But to get to that altitude, sometimes it takes a week before they're operational, sometimes a month. It just depends. So usually when you see them in that lineup pattern is because they're not there yet. All right. So they're a little bit less bright once they get to the 550 where they need to be. They also have like black paint on them, which is like almost like the same type of paint that they use on stealth bombers that make them invisible. So they have that paint on them. The other thing that they do, which is kind of interesting, is that if you are here, right, and the satellite is coming by overhead, right, and the sun is coming in this direction, it would hit you, right? And since the light would bounce and hit you, you would see the satellite. But if the satellite is coming overhead, and that's all it does is rotate just a slight bit like this, when the sun hits, it goes this way, right? It doesn't hit you, meaning that you won't see it. So that's another strategy that SpaceX Starlink uses, is to manipulate the angle of the satellites as they're going overhead to lessen the amount of how reflective they are besides the black paint and everything else. So by just changing that angle a little bit makes them a little bit more invisible. Totally no, all right? But it does make them a little bit more invisible, which is kind of cool. Yeah, let me know how much the TV costs now. Let's see. Any other questions? Put a Q before your question or at JCristina. That would be awesome. Ricky Joe says, can I say this? Starlink Generation 3 has awesome Wi-Fi coverage. Interesting. That is good. Yeah, I've heard good things about the Generation 3. Very, very good things. Was that Terra Nova Twilight Zone? No, it was just called the Twilight Zone, Peter. It was just called the Twilight Zone at the time. It was a BBS. It was a BBS that you would see in South Florida for about 4 or 5 years, somewhere on there. Let me see. Shannon says membership for 13 months. Wow, Shannon. 13 months. Just over a year. Thank you so much. Lifetime sub. Really do appreciate you. Really, really do appreciate you. Let's see. He says, sorry for my absence all. My schedule has been really crazy. After this weekend, I will get to relax for 10. Really? Relax? Is there something? Is that even a thing? For 10 or so days to unwind. Joe! I cheated and turned off airplane mode on the phone and used DT. You did use DTS or DTC on a plane at 3,000 feet. That's awesome. Good for you, bud. Good for you. I like that you cheated. That's awesome. DTC works from planes. People don't get it, but it does right through the plane. That's why when I was telling people that, look, DTC worked inside of this building through 8.5-inch walls, poured concrete walls with the roof. DTC worked right on my unmodified Apple piece of crap. So I'm telling you, these telcos, they need to be worried. They need to be worried. Not now, maybe not next year, but they need to be worried. Trust me. Things are going to start really just ramping up when it comes to DTC or direct to cell, where you can use your cell phone without having a cell tower nearby, like you did at 30,000 feet. That's freaking awesome. I love it. Absolutely love it. Let's see. Moving on. Let's see. If I missed your question, because that happens, this thing pops around. It's so damn annoying. Just ask it again. George says, back in the cable internet days, a crew came out to figure out our neighborhood speed issue. Okay. Let them in, and they replaced a slitter. What? And was filtering out the data frequency. Yeah, probably a splitter. Yeah, from a daisy chain. Yeah, it was interesting. You know, back then, a lot of the issues that we used to have was due to interference from Ma Bell, from AT&T, let's say. Their lines were so dirty, so noisy that you just couldn't, it was horrible. Absolutely horrible. That's a lot of the retrains used to happen. Things wouldn't connect right. It'd be horrible because the lines were so rough. Just horrible. Gallagher says, question, can you show us the dark web? What does it look like? Can you take us on a journey through the dark web? You know, that's something that I could probably do. Normally, if I'm going to do that, I'll use, I will not use my regular computer for it. Okay. And I would recommend you guys do the same thing. Okay. If you want to experiment with the dark web, install Linux, for example, or an OS onto a pen drive. Okay. Install, let's say Linux for me. Take your pen drive, stick it in the computer, boot up on the pen drive. Do not have any access to the rest of your computer, just the pen drive, and that's it. Okay. Then use that pen drive for doing whatever you want to do on the dark web, and then format it, and that's it. You don't have to worry about anything funky happening or anything. I always suggest that people do that because you can do everything you need to do on one of these instead of having to worry about your main machine that you're using for work or something. Okay, so do that. But yeah, it's something that maybe I can do. I don't know about recording it properly. I have to think about it. Gal girl. Yes, George. Yes, splitter. No, I get it. Let's see. Tina Sharp. Thank you for being here. Will they be releasing a new dish this year? I have a funny feeling that they will release a dish just before the version 3 satellites come out. So those satellites will be coming out. They will be dropped into orbit this year. SpaceX's Starship will function. It will get into orbit this year. And I do think the Pez dispenser will open up and shoot out those Pez, those satellites. So the answer would be yes. I really do think that we'll see at least one new router and dish kit, let's say, at least one, possibly even two. Doug says Tor, Onion browser. Yes, absolutely. You can use the Onion browser. Tor's the way to go. Let's see. Is Delete Me a good service? I've heard of Delete Me, but I don't really know enough about it to be able to comment. I really don't know. Welcome, premium sub. Blackhawk, thank you so much. Thank you. Really do appreciate that. Thank you. Let's see. Amiga was awesome. Amigas were absolutely awesome. Let's see. Ricky Joe said it's $82.99. There you go. So $82.99. When I came on board, it was like 60 some dollars. So you're looking at $30 in the last So I got YouTube TV when I got SpaceX Starlink. And that's like 42 months ago. So let's just call it just over 3 years. So within just over 3 years, we're over $10 more. So instead of $60, we're now at like 80 some dollars. That's starting to get a little bit costly. For a streaming service, that's a lot. Okay, they need to rethink that. And what will happen is YouTube TV and the rest of these providers will do the exact same thing to the letter, to the T, that the cable companies did, right? That Dish Network did, that DirecTV did. They went with this low cost, $50, $60, and the next thing you know it, you're paying $200-$300 per month on all of these freaking channels and all this shit, right? So we need to be careful. Okay, we need to be careful. And maybe it's time to dump YouTube TV and go with another one and see if that helps when it comes to pricing. Because remember, they're very price sensitive. I always say this, that the cost of anything is only the maximum that any one person is willing to pay for it. Or let's say the majority. Okay, that's it. 1 penny more than what that maximum is, and people will not pay it, and they won't be able to sell the product. So they have to come down. So if they see that $82, $82.99, so $83 is not the pain point yet, they're going to 85. They're going to 89. They're going to 90, 93, 100. They're going to do it until they hit that pain point where they see all of a sudden they start losing customers. They're like, holy shit, we'll just drop it down just a little bit and it starts coming back up a little bit. That's the pain point. That's where they're going to leave it. So, I don't know. What service would you use instead of using YouTube TV? What would you use? What would be your thing? Let me know. Let's see. Moving on here. Moving on. Let's see. Once again, put a Q before your question or at JCristina. Thank you so much, Skydog, for becoming a premium sub. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Attenuation. Yes, Doug. Attenuation. People don't think about attenuation, but it's one of the biggest things. Let's see. Skydog's talking to Shannon. Here we go. Peter says, these zones, only real claim to fame was it being the birthplace of the Bell Shock Force. Interesting. Which was kind of a reverse group, if you will. See that? I didn't even know that. Let's see. The Marauder. Okay. War Games. Yes. George says War Games. The Dead Code. Yes. Is available for free on YouTube. No ads. War Games, The Dead Code. War Games, The Dead Code? What the hell is that? Let me see. And that you said was on YouTube? War Games, The Dead Code. Oh, here we go. There's the trailer. Huh. I'll have to take a look at it. Thanks a lot for that. War Games, The Dead Code. Here's the trailer. I wish I could put it on. If I put it on, they demonetize the channel, demonetize the video. That's what YouTube does. I can't even play music, people. But that's not true. I have to, like, the music that I play, like you hear in my videos, any type of music, it's stuff that I bought or stuff that I'm paying monthly for, which is just craziness, you know? I mean, I know everyone needs to get paid, but the way they do it is it's next level. It's absolutely next level, guys. Let me hit this trailer, okay? You know what? I'm going to shut off the audio. All right, audio is off, and I'm going to hit this trailer because I want to see what this is about. This War Games, the Dead Code. What is this about? What is this? Why does it look like complete shit? Oh, here we go. It's kind of blurry, guys. It's kind of blurry, but that's okay. Let me put it on. Why is it popping over to there? Here we go. All right, let's go full screen with it, and we will go and switch over. Let's see, did it work? Or maybe this one? Yeah, we could do it this way. Yeah, let's do it that way. All right, let's roll it. I'm just gonna let that run. See what is it about? I don't even know. Oh, okay. Gotcha. That looks interesting. I love that kind of stuff. We'll just let that run. Let's see, YouTube TV, no TV needs. Yes. My drone is above your house. That's Doug. Let's see, Skydog TV, or Skydog99 says, the streaming service that has gotten out of control is Disney Plus. Holy shit, yes, absolutely. It doubled in 5 years. I don't know what's going on, people. I do not know what's going on. But these people, these, like, I don't know how it's even possible. The amount of money is just, it's literally nuts. It's absolutely nuts. But I don't know. But anyways, so yeah, I'll have to take a look at this. The Dead Code that's from 2008. I didn't even know that. I didn't even know. That's pretty cool. I'm sure it'd be something I'll be interested in. Thank you for that. Andrew says, who has time to watch YouTube TV? I say that, and I am here watching me. Yeah, no, it's true. It's true. Alert, violation alert. You know that's going to happen because I played that trailer in that little box. I guarantee you, they'll just demonetize the live. That's what they do. I mean, it's like crazy. You can't even like do commentary on stuff. Like I like the whole reaction stuff, right? I think it's a lot of fun, and I would like to play some videos and then react to them, talk about them, and I just don't do it because YouTube gets like their panties in a big fat freaking bunch. Like no matter, like I told you guys before. I mean, I was live doing the Starship. I think it was Starship IFT 5 or 4, one of them. And they literally demonetized the live that I was doing for like 3 hours because there was music in the background that SpaceX Starlink was playing that I didn't hear because I didn't have it my earpiece in at the time. They were playing some shit elevator music, absolute garbage, and it demonetized because of that elevator music. I had to go and rip out like a portion of the video just to comply. Probably the same shit will happen here, right? They'll be like, oh, no. You played a trailer from 2008, and it was in a small window, and you were doing commentary. You're not allowed to do that. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It's kind of crazy. Jailbreak is awesome. Yeah, this is, yes, that's from Doug. Gallagher says, did you know that Amazon sells a UFO detector for just under $300? Would you ever consider getting and reviewing one? What the hell is a UFO detector? How is it going to detect UFOs? I don't get it. Gallagher, tell me. What the hell is a UFO detector? But yeah, Disney Plus, they've gone insane. They've gone insane. But then again, Disney has gone insane, right? Did you hear? Did you hear that there's only two genders? That's like official? And that men are no longer allowed to compete against women in sports? Who would have thunk such a thing? I was floored. I thought that was supposed to be like the norm. I thought men's supposed to compete against women. I don't know. I was shocked. But I got my popcorn ready, guys. I'm watching. I am watching and enjoying everything unfold, because what we've had going on for the last few years has been a damn mess. It has been a mess. So yeah, we'll see what ends up happening here. This is going to be an interesting time, let's say. Elon Musk, I tell you what, he needs to take advantage. At this point, he needs to take advantage because he's kind of got the ear of the president now, the president-elect, right? Which is now actually the president, but he's got the ear. So he needs to speed shit up, right? Whatever he needs to do, because right now, for the next 4 years or so, he's going to have an easier time with this regulatory crap, where you have the Fish and Wildlife sitting there saying that he can't launch for a month or two. Do you remember that? That wasn't that long ago. Oh no, there's this fish, and we need to make sure. We need to do some studies. If you guys didn't know it, Elon Musk, SpaceX Starlink had to do tests with earphones, big earphones, designed earphones that they would put onto orca whale, I think it was, and a dolphin, and play the sound of a sonic boom to see if it affected their I don't know, breeding or some shit. This is no joke. This is for real. This is facts. I mean, this is the kind of just insanity that these people force upon them, So anyways, I'm there for it. I can't wait to see how many. I want to see a good 24 rockets go up. I think it's possible, but we will see if they're going to be able to do it. Starship, he's got a lot of extras there. It's just now he's going to have to see what are they going to do with this whole explosion that happened, and you have debris raining over, I don't know. The islands here off the Bahamas and Bermuda, whatever. I don't, it's a problem. I don't know. They're going to have to figure this out. They're going to have to figure it out, because you can't rain debris. It's one thing if these small pieces fall, which is not a problem. They're very little mass. But when something big falls, like an engine, it's going to make a hole. Okay. And if it hits a boat, if it hits a island, if it hits whatever, it's going to make a hole. So I don't know. They're going to have to figure out this trajectory. And I think that's why, instead of launching out of Texas, they're going to want to launch SpaceX Starship out of Cape Canaveral, 3 hours north of me, out of Florida. I think that's why, because then they have a straight shot. They don't have to worry about it anymore, right? You don't have to worry about it. Right now, they're having to cut. They have to thread a needle between Florida and Cuba, and you know what I mean? They got to thread the needle. Pain in the ass, I'm sure. So once they start launching out of Florida, it's going to be pretty smooth sailing. Ricky Joe says Sling is the cheapest at $60.99 a month, but there's no local channels. That's a problem. Local channels is a big thing for a lot of people. Let's see. Gallagher says, what do you think will happen to Starlink if Elon disappears? That's a good question. Do you think he will clone himself, even though it's supposedly not possible? I'm sure cloning a human is possible, considering they've cloned sheep and they've cloned a lot of other things. I'm sure they've already cloned people. I have no doubt. No doubt. Or will there be an iRobot of him? So I think it's probably going to be all of above. I think that Elon Musk will try to attempt to get his, the whole Neuralink thing really out there working, where you can pull thought out, which would be kind of interesting. Right now, it's really at its rudimentary stage, right? There, it's very basic, but I think it's going to get better and better with that whole Neuralink thing. Robotics, I think, is going to be next level also, because the robotics are great the way they are, but they're going to become next level as there's more and more sensors put onto the robots and it starts using AI. That's going to be a big, big game changer. So there's a lot going on. And I mean, I love electronics. I love technical anything. So for me, this is going to be it's a great time to be alive, in my personal opinion. I think it's probably equally as great as when we landed on the moon, 1969. You know, everyone was like, can life get any better? That's just crazy. We put a man on the moon. If we actually get a ship to Mars, that's going to be crazy. Getting images back from Mars, literally parked on Mars's orbit. I mean, that would be just nuts. Let's see. Tim says we're a little bit behind the video. No problem. We're just hanging out today. There's a few people here today. I don't know, 60, 70, 80. I don't know. Not that many people. Sometimes there's over 100, 120, 130. There's a few people today, which is, I literally only put the thumbnail out there that I was going live about 45 minutes before going live. So I thought I was just going to do like an hour and that's it. But it's already been an hour and 40 minutes. So I'm going to answer a few more questions. Shannon, thank you for the super chat. Shannon says DEI is dead. DEI is dead. What do they call it? DEIA now? I don't know, whatever. DEI is dead. DEI, you know, the way I look at this is like DEI is one of those things that, you know, had originally a good thought behind it, right? There's like, it's like they went to the extreme with it, right? And that was the big problem. The problem that I have with the whole DEI thing is that it promotes racism. And I'm not a racist guy. I don't want you to promote racism. And that's what DEI did. DEI made it so that a business would have to have, let's say, 10 employees. They would have to have like 2 women. They would have to have 2 men. They would have to have 2 people that were gay. They had to have 2 people that thought that they were furries. They had to have 2 that were transgender. They had to have 2. Then after those 10, then all of a sudden now we have to go to color, right? We have to have 2 that were black, 2 that are white, 2 that are Chinese, 2 that are Indian, 2 that, like, literally just the whole gamut, the whole scope. And, you know, while I think that everyone should have opportunity, the problem that I have with it is the people that get the jobs should be the person that actually should have the job. It should be merit-based, period. It shouldn't be anything else. And that was what ended up happening. People were getting jobs that should never, ever, ever have had those jobs. And the reason being is maybe the color of their skin, maybe their creed, maybe their sexual orientation, whatever. You know, it was nuts to begin with. And then it got more and more and more nutty when they started going into, like, from, you know, having 2 possible, you have a male and a female, then all of a sudden you had like a third, then you had a fourth, and the next thing you knew it, there was like, I don't know, 99 different people. Like, guys, in a school north of me, they had a massive kitty litter box, like a 3 or 4 foot kitty litter box with like a curtain that went around it, where kids that thought that they were like furries, that thought that they were like animals, cats, friggin' fox or some shit, would go behind the curtain, close the curtain, and pee into the kitty litter. I mean, you can't even make this shit up. So yes, they just took, you know, they took it to the extreme, you know, and that's what they do. They, you know, you start over here where everything's like, okay, and then they just over here someplace. And that's what happened. It's just like, just like anything else. You take a rubber band and you pull the rubber band, and it's like building up all that kinetic energy, right? You pull that rubber band, and you only pull it so far, and eventually it snaps. And when it snaps back hard and fast. And I think that's what we're going to see. Hard and fast. You know what I mean? Anyways, moving on from the hard and fast. Guys, I'm going to hang out for like another 5-10 minutes. If you have any questions, put a Q before your question or at JCristina. I don't want to forget. Thank you, everybody, for those super chats. Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Shan. Thank you, everyone. Really do appreciate you guys. I mean, everything you do is, it really does help. Okay, it helps out a lot. It helps out a lot. Let's see. Moving on. Let's see. Gallagher says humans become partial robots to live on infinitely. I suppose that it's a possibility, but the thing is what would stay in the robot? Like your thoughts, your brain, your what you've accomplished or what things that you've learned or something. That's really about it. Your essence, your soul is not going to stay here, right? In my personal opinion, everyone has their own opinion. I don't think it's going to get locked down inside of a computer. Now, a copy of it, yeah, that could possibly happen. Make a copy of your brain today and then upload it into the computer. I think it's plausible. As the computers get more and more, you get these quantum computers and shit that are, doing stuff on a crazy base that can actually possibly replicate the neurons that we have firing. But that's going to be a little bit from now. We're getting close, but it's going to be a little bit. Fragile, thank you so much for this super chat. Thank you so much. I do appreciate that. Thank you. Let's see. Peter says that's why Starlink is building the mega factory in Florida. Yes, and they're also building the SpaceX Starlink launch pads too here, right here in Cape Canaveral. That's what I've been waiting for. I wanted to take you guys to go and see like a launch, but the only thing that we're launching here is like the Falcon 9, which is kind of cool, but I don't think it would go over as big as like if I was actually there for a launch of a Starship. So whenever they end up doing a Starship, I'm going to go and I'm going to get a room. We're going to stay there. And because, sometimes they'll delay it until the next day or something. So I'm going to get a room and stay and then just hang out and literally do a live or something and record from the launch. I think that'd be just awesome without having to go down to Texas to do it, Boca Chica, right? Let's see. Moving on. Once again, put a Q before your question or at JCristina. Would appreciate that. Ricky Joe says, do you use smart thermostat for your heat and AC where you can control the temperature from your phone? I don't. It's a dumb thermostat. It's smart enough, but it's not connected through Wi-Fi. I can program it for different times of the day to go on and off at certain things. That's what I use. I'm not all that, crazy with it. The only DEI I know is Dale Earnhardt. Yeah, Dale Earnhardt, Inc. Man, that's right. What the flip is DEI? DEI? Gallagher, come on, Gallagher. You know what DEI is. Let's see. Yeah, Radioactive Texan says diversity, equality, inclusion. God, I don't know. My God. It's nuts. What is this? Renee says T. Went off on the Cali mayor. Really? T. We don't want to say his name. The president went off on the California mayor. Get it done. crap on 18 months permanent. Yeah, that's true. Let the people clear the property now. 300 billion taken from a B project. Yes, I know. There's so many things that are going on that have been so screwed that I'm really here for it. I want to see things just turn around. So we'll see what ends up happening. I'm gonna be watching. We'll see how it all goes. But anyways, guys, listen. I really appreciate everyone hanging out with me. It's Friday. Obviously, there was a few people here today. It was under 100, which is it's just fine. It was more intimate. We kind of like hang out. There was a couple of things that I'm going to be working on moving forward. I got about 5 or 10 people that requested, because I do art, right? I do painting. I do a lot of art where I do drawings that are on the iPad, and I do a lot of the things. People wanted me to do some images of like the Starlink stuff, like launches and all this stuff. And I think I'm going to do some of that. And then I'll put them on my website that people can pick them up. Like literally prints, like a 24 by 36, like big prints that I've done. So it's something that I'm working on. I just want to let you guys know since you're kind of like just hanging out here. So, but thanks a lot for being here. I really do appreciate it. Next week, you'll be able to see Fabiola, my beautiful wife, and not my mug, which will definitely be helpful. I hope you guys have an absolute blessed weekend with your family. Hang out, chill out, and keep warm, I guess I should say. It is getting cold. Many blessings, guys. We'll see you in the next one. Take care. See you on Monday. Take care, guys.